My sermon to now, and one of the reasons for that is I wanted to share with you some writings, and one particular writing that I read recently that is important, I think, for us to understand prior to receiving the sacraments and also our disposition in the church. And now, you know, I've spoken about Elder Paisios many times in the church. His books are finally in. This is the book. It's on the Pangati. It's $40. We only have 5 copies, I believe. So if this particular story is not located in this book, but there are many other stories very similar to this that you could read in this wonderful book and many of the other writings that he has. And he says, despite appearances and the unworthiness of the monks and clergy, the church is an endless source of miracles. It takes water and it makes holy water. It takes bread and wine and makes holy Eucharist. It takes man made out of dirt and makes him like God. But many people do not see these miracles, because if they saw them, they would not despise or hate the church or Christ, but they would love and honor her and would not be talking about her with contempt as they do. Christians are destined to bear a heavy cross in their life. It is a difficult thing to say that you believe in the Lord and also that you have ease in this life, because when you are having ease of life on earth, there is something wrong with yourself. You care about the gold of the land and not for the treasures of heaven. But when you think like this, you are far away from the will of God. Christian life and having ease in life do not go together. They are very different things. Once there came here a well-known doctor to talk to me. His wife was a doctor also, both religious people. He complained that his children were living worldly lives and not only did not follow the family traditions of the church, but also saw them as ironic. They characterized Christians as mentally deficient, closed-minded, dishonest, hypocritical, and rascals because of their life, they would say, was not consistent with their words and deeds, and they were not Christian. Even Holy Unction, which the parents would have done once a year in their home with their children when they were young, they participated in, but now were reacting and not to be found. The doctor seemed very tired and desperate for his children's regeneration, and he thought of all the efforts of his own and his wife were wasted. Now, Elder Paisios continues on to this man, and he speaks to him and says, what is the one thing that's needed? And he tells the man, sell what he has, give to the poor, embrace God, and move from your life of need and your life of luxury to a life of prayer. And the man does exactly what happens in the gospel reading. Now I'm paraphrasing this because it's important for you to understand that our lives in the church have to look at Christ and say, what does he do for us? And what does he make with our simple brokenness? And this man, this doctor and his wife, after Elder Paisios tells him, go sell what you have, just keep one of your homes and a summer home, and keep one of your nice cars and give to the poor and help those in need, he walks away like the man in the gospel reading. The church takes our simplicity and our brokenness and makes it something extraordinary. And the most important thing for us to do is to look at our lives with openness towards God and to say, God, take my brokenness and make it whole. Take my simple water and make it holy water. Take this simple loaf of bread that I've made and make it your holy body. Take this bottle of wine and make it your holy blood. Take my life and make it something of the saints. These beautiful writings, as we approach to receive Holy Communion, should resound within us and should make us always remember that wherever we're at, God can take us and take us to a new plane, to a new level of growth, to a new level of holiness, to a new level of sanctity. So remember these writings that I bring to your attention and think about how you can learn more about the church. Learn more about where you're at in your life. Learn more about where you need to go in your life. But as you approach to receive Holy Communion today, I wanted to reiterate that first phrase, that God takes our bread and our wine and makes it His body and blood. He makes it that. He changes the ordinary into the extraordinary. So as you come to receive, do not underestimate the power, the holiness, the sacrament, and the true gift of Holy Communion. Sometimes we approach with a nonchalant nature, saying, well, it's owed to me. I'm going up because I feel it's owed to me. Nothing is owed to us, as St. John Chrysostom says, but as we approach, he says, no one is worthy to approach. But yet we do, out of fear, faith, and love, we come forward. But as you go throughout your day today, and as you go throughout this Christmas season, look at your lives and see how God can transform the simpleness of what you are and what you have into the extraordinary. Make your lives special by letting God transform you. Don't think you can do it on your own. And don't look at the church and say the church doesn't offer anything. It was just the miracles in the days of old and the times of Jesus. And there's no miracles today. There's no presence of God today. Because if we say that, we should never, ever approach the holy chalice to receive communion. If we think the miracles only happened 2,000 years ago, then what do we see as the true miracle of the transformation of the bread and the wine into the body and blood of Christ? It is a miracle that we experience every single divine liturgy. Through the unworthy hands of the clergy, through the prayers of the faithful, and through the hymns and the writings of the church, we celebrate the body and blood of Christ coming to us every single divine liturgy. Despite our unworthiness, despite our lack of prayer, our lack of focus, God still comes to us. And that is why, when we say about the Orthodox receiving from the chalice and we don't have other faiths come and receive Holy Communion, that's because it is the body and blood of Christ. It's not our efforts that make it such. It is. So as you come forward to receive, remember that the simpleness of what we offer becomes extraordinary in the church. And the sinfulness of our lives can be turned into saintly lives by the prayers and by the love of God, but most of all, by our putting ourselves in front of God and saying, transform me into something extraordinary. Make me like you by making my life join with yours. God is always reaching out to us to make this happen, and it is up to us to reach back out to Him and to receive the sacraments of the church, to pray, and most of all, to humble ourselves and understand that we cannot do anything on our own. It is only with the presence of God that things become graced and holy and peaceful and healing and sacramental. It is the presence of God that does that. So I pray that as you approach to receive communion today, keep that in the forefront of your mind. And remember this special gift that we receive during the Divine Liturgy. It's not something that's owed to us, but it is a gift.